This pitch deck made me write a check. It wasn't a warm intro from a fund. It wasn't from a demo day or a pitch event. It was a deal group chat run by one of the founders that's already in my portfolio. I almost scrolled past it, but by the third slide, I'd stopped scrolling and I already knew I wanted to meet this founder. Hi, I'm Rupa Poppet, the founder and managing partner of Araya Ventures and House of Araya. I discovered Stride in a WhatsApp deal group run by one of the founders from my angel investment portfolio. Before I reached out for a request to connect with the founder, I reviewed the deck, and I'm going to share with you what got me excited. So one of the things that immediately struck me in this deck was the founder market fit was exceptional. Andrew, the founder of this business, was an Olympic medalist who had spent over a decade building businesses precisely in this space. Prior to this business, he had co-founded DNA Fit. He'd successfully exited that business to Pronetics and then helped scale Pronetics into a Nasdaq listing, IPO. And so he clearly had both the ability to build, the ability to exit, and to scale all the way to IPO. And that was really attractive about Andrew's background. The second thing that was really, really attractive about this deck was the traction. The company had gone from launch to £4 million annualized revenue run rate in just over 6 months, had over 13,500 orders and over 40% repeat purchase behavior. One of the theses we have at Araya Ventures and the House of Araya in the health space is really around this move that's gone from reactive healthcare to preventative healthcare and proactive healthcare. And so when this deck landed in my lap through this WhatsApp group, I was really, really excited from day one about the fact that it matched our thesis. It was very clear again from the first slide exactly what the business did. They're building the full stack home for optimal health. And it was clear how it worked, who the potential customer was, and what the customer gets out of the product and the experience. Moving to the next slide, I think what was really interesting about this slide was that they'd already reached £4 million annual run rate in the first 6 months since launch. One of the biggest challenges for consumer businesses, especially in the market like the UK, is that it takes time to really get to that first million mark. And here was a founder and a business that had achieved £4 million annual run rate in the first 6 months of their business. The second thing that caught my eye was that they'd had over 13,500 orders to date, and already in such a short space of time, they'd had over 40% conversion into repeat purchase. And again, normally in a consumer startup, you would have either growth or you would have retention. And here, already in the first 6 months, the business was showing both. There was phenomenal growth, and then there was also retention, and already this kind of proof point of, repeat purchase, which was really great. And then to top it all off, as you can see on this slide, it was also excellent reviews as well of the business. The next slide is really brilliant because it really goes back to the founder. And as we know, in the earlier stages of business, it's always about the founder. It's always about what's the raison d'etre for this founder building this business in this moment. And you can see on this slide from day one that there was just a brilliant founder market fit. So as you can see here, that Andrew's background was originally as an Olympic medalist, as an athlete, who then went to build DNA Fit, a company that he started in the healthcare space. He then successfully exited DNA Fit to Pronetics, and then stayed with Pronetics all the way to IPO. So here is a founder who's already done the journey in the same sector from start all the way to scale, all the way to exit. And so it showed a real founder market fit for why he was the founder that was building this business. The next slide really talks about the problem that's being solved, and this aligned very, very closely with Araya's thesis around the healthcare space. And as chronic disease has increased and now considered normal, and this statistic really shouted out to us, which was that 3 in 4 have chronic disease or consider it to be normal at some stage in their lives, and over 70% of consumers are willing to pay for prevention. And this was very much in line with our thesis and what we had seen in terms of changing behaviors, very much in like a post-COVID world, where people were more and more interested to spend on their healthcare over purchasing, items or experiences as well. And so this very much aligned to who the potential customers will be that end up paying and buying and using this product on an ongoing basis. The next slide even further explained where the problem sits for me. And, just seeing all of these logos and seeing how fragmented the ownership of the healthcare journey is something that I could personally relate to. But also this slide really illustrated that as well. We have our wearable data in one place. We have our electronic healthcare records in another place. A lot of our day-to-day is about reactive healthcare. We feel unwell, we go to see what it's about, we go and take the necessary medication related to that, but we never get to the root cause of how we might be able to prevent it or take care of it. And this particular slide really felt like it explained how fragmented the experience for customers actually is. And now getting to the great part, which is really the solution to solve the problem. And so this slide really shows that Stride has already built this vertically integrated preventative health ecosystem. From this slide, it was very clear what the exact offering is, what customers get, what their experience with it is, and what are the ongoing touch points that, start to make you think what the ongoing repeat purchases and retention could be of those customers. And this slide did that really, really well. Another slide that was really great was around the business model, and why this was really useful is it really showed how the founder is thinking about this space and what are the best ways to reach the customer. So it wasn't, this is the only thing we're going to offer and this is going to be, what we give. It was very personalized to individual healthcare journeys. For some, it might be an e-commerce purchase. For some, it might be supplement subscriptions. For some, it might be an all year round membership. And also having an offer for B2B and practitioners, because sometimes with consumer businesses, it can take time to scale and grow. And actually having a B2B offering as well and scaling through, essentially through other businesses to their customers can be really attractive scale opportunity as well, and a great way to get brand awareness out. And you could tell from this slide that the offering and the product was really, really thoughtful to kind of cover all of these points. The second part of the solution section of the pitch deck was also really important, because now it started to show why this particular business wins, what was unique about it versus anyone else saying that they do this too. And here you've got how they operate their own in-house accredited laboratory in the UK. You've got their proprietary bioinformatics and diagnostics interpretation engine. And so really here you can start to see why Stride would win versus other competitors in the market. And as we go to the next slide on the AI strategy, this is the bit that really spoke to our thesis and spoke to really understanding how the founder is thinking about it. Because one of the big parts of our thesis is that traditionally our healthcare data has always sat in the wrong spaces. It's sat, our electronic health records sit in one space, our wearable data sits somewhere else. And so what was really great about this is you could tell that Andrew really understood that you need a vertically integrated platform where all the data is sitting in one space to really be able to then use AI and to use AI diagnostics to really understand, the healthcare outcome of that particular customer. A lot of the things that I see in the healthcare space and a lot of the pitch decks we get, they're trying to solve one specific moment. So they might be trying to solve, something related to supplements or something related to another part. What was really clear in this slide was that the founder had really thought about from start to finish what really needs to happen for this to become the embedded platform for customers to trust and to build their kind of healthcare journey and preventative healthcare journey with. The slide on market is always really important, but it's also really important for us as investors to go and validate our own numbers around this. But you can see how big this market is and the potential of this market. And essentially, again, since post-COVID, this has been very much about creating a whole new category. And I think that's very much what was shown here is the full potential from this slide of what this could be. Looking at the next slide, a competition. So obviously, as investors, it's our job to also go and do our own due diligence on the competitive landscape and look at who the competitors are and how we believe that this graph should be. But this was very, very clear on day one on where Stride feels their position compared to all of the competitors in the market. And that is really, really helpful in terms of understanding, where the business plays and who the potential competitors could be as this business scales and as they evolve their offerings as well. On the future slide, it was so clear again that the clarity around the founder's vision here about what this product could be was really illustrated in this slide, because it was clear that it was very thought through on a 3-phased approach of what would be the next 6 to 12 months, what would be the next 12 to 36 months, and then what would be the later future vision as well. And that comes across really clearly here. And then going to the team slide, we'd obviously already heard Andrew's story earlier in the deck and what he had done. But again, coming to this slide really shared who's the team behind Stride beyond just the founder, and already a very, very exceptional group of team members and also advisors that had already joined the fold. And on the ask page, it's really great when the founder can really visualize what the potential growth of this business can be in the 5-year revenue projection, but also just knowing how much they need to raise in order to be able to deliver this outcome. And so this felt very clear on what the amount is that's being raised and what the ask is, and also how the money will be spent as well. So all in all, this is a great business pitch deck example in the preventative healthcare space of a business that we backed that felt like it matched our thesis specifically, a founder market fit that was exceptional, a vertically integrated ecosystem that really met the consumer where they are on their journey, a really great initial results with the 4 million annual run rate in the first 6 months, and beyond that also the retention figures that were already showing at such an early stage in the business as well. And so these were the key reasons that we backed Stride. I've put together a pitch scorecard, the exact criteria I use to evaluate any deck I receive, including the one I just walked you through. 25 criteria across team, market, product, traction, and terms. Score each one, total it up, and you'll know immediately where a deal is strong and where it has gaps. It is called the Startup Pitch Scorecard. The link is in the description.